Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream today. We are live on YouTube and Twitch for some post-veto ceremony feeds. And there's drama. All right, I'm going to give you the quick version of this, and then once I have a moment, I'm going to give you the longer version. Lauren, of course, with the veto, has been back and forth this morning. Catherine was making progress, convincing her not to use it. And then Riley came in and was basically undoing all of that progress, trying to convince her to use it. Because he's an idiot. After more back and forth between Lauren and Rachel, Lauren decided to use the veto on Riley's advice on Vince, and Rachel replaced Vince with Riley. Riley and Catherine, of course, not happy. Keanu is not happy. Vince, I'm sure, is happy because he's off the block. But he's acting not happy because he's talking to Keanu. Hey Riley, I have a tip. If you advise Lauren to force Rachel to show her cards, should probably be pretty sure that those cards aren't you. Jazz, thank you for the subscription. Welcome to the Road. This is so okay. There's a lot of analysis to do. I will do it. The feeds are still feeding at the moment. Thank you for the subscriptions, though. The pros and cons of going live in the middle of the feeds popping off is that the analysis has to come after the watching. So Keanu and Riley right now are just talking through, still reeling. Rachel is talking with Ashley, Will, and Mickey in the room, telling Mickey she needs to win Blockbuster so they have the votes to take out Riley. Because basically, like we'd been talking about, I think that Rachel is very okay with the idea of trying to maintain her position with Mickey and Morgan by putting up somebody like Riley and trying to send. I do think that Riley is now potentially her target, and I do think that that is currently the plan she needs to stick to. We can definitely run through the votes as well once we have a little bit of time. I need to get the Stockwatch survey out as well. The big thing for Rachel is she does need to make sure Keanu doesn't actually flip away from her with this. Which I don't think he will. I think he's got plenty of other enemies. She needs to lock Mickey and Morgan back in, and she needs to ideally keep them separate from Vince. There is a world where this can work. It requires some work and it's risky. But it sets Vinny against Riley or against Mickey Morgan. Right? So, like, D.D. Wilder, thank you for the 64th in a row. I thought I wasn't going to be on the block this week. Oh man, can just for a moment, just before we do any analysis, before we do any why this is bad for Rachel's game, can we just take a moment and imagine the world where Riley is voted out this week? I know people wanted it to be Mickey. I know. And I get it. But if Riley's on the table, that's a whole new meal. You know what I mean? That's a whole nother level. I don't know, Riley. Maybe you should have listened to Catherine. Maybe you shouldn't have undermined Catherine's work when she was trying to get this to not be used for this exact scenario. Vinny already getting. I don't want you to be mad at Lauren or me. Oh, here's Keanu and Rachel. Rachel, why'd you do that? I think I told Lauren to fuck around and find out, and I came here to play Big Brother. It's never too early to make a big move. Learn that. Rachel's telling the truth. She's telling Keanu that Riley is not on her side, on his side. Rachel needs to walk a careful line here. Keanu making very good points. Okay, okay. I need to look at the votes. Ashley, Ava. One of Mickey Morgan, Will. He's right. I mean, they do need one of Keanu or Vince or Lauren or Kelly. But that's pretty hard to get, I would say. She needs to flip Keanu. That's it. I think she just needs to flip Keanu. It's gonna be really difficult though. So there is a little bit of an interesting thing here because given that Vinny theoretically is on the side of Riley and Catherine, again, he will need to be campaigning against Mickey and Morgan. And the two of them, especially Morgan, have a lot of dirt on Vinny. Like it's a very dangerous position for Vinny to be in, a tricky one to navigate. She's right. She's right. She said, "You'll roll the tapes. You'll see." He has a good point here, which is you should have talked to me more about it. I think she needs to take a lesson from Mickey, who did not apologize. I think she needs to apologize to Keanu. This is the Vince I like. This is the Vince I like. Just immediate code switching. He's in the middle of being like, this is so bad. This is so bad. Morgan comes in. I don't think this is bad. Yeah, this is not bad. So the question is, like, where does Vince actually go here? I think he sides with Riley, and I think that is the right play. But he needs to pretend that he is siding with Morgan and Mickey and not get caught. Keanu believes that Riley is a number for him. Keanu believes that Riley is, in fact, one of his closest allies, and if not his closest ally, because Keanu is delusional. Riley does not even like Keanu at all. But given Keanu's delusional mindset, his reaction here is very appropriate. Rachel's too used to not challenging Keanu's delusions, but in this instance, the delusions are the fundamental difference between the two of them. She cannot win this conversation without addressing those fundamental delusions. All right, Keanu. All right, Stockwatch survey is up. Keanu knows it. Keanu knows her more than anyone else. Katie, think of the 15th. I've already beat Riley. He's not wrong. I mean, he's wrong, but his logic isn't wrong. His read is wrong. And cut. It's just leftover pets. Okay. There was a whole scene when the feeds cut for the veto. Lauren was wild. Just like up in the HOH room, like, I think I might use it. And Rachel was like, don't do that. And she's like, oh, why is this so hard? But maybe I will. And Rachel was like, Lauren, I want to work with you. It's like, oh, I need to go grab some moisturizer. Rachel's like, I have some right here. No, I'll just be right back. I need to grab some moisturizer. Runs downstairs. Finds Vince. Vince, she doesn't want me to use it. Oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't let her catch me talking to you. Oh my God. Vince was like, she's trying to use fear tactics against you. You can't let it work. It's like, oh my, she's coming. I think she's coming. I can't be caught. She goes back upstairs, and I swear to you, it lasts five minutes. Okay. 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 I swear to you, at least 5 minutes. And Rachel is standing there the whole time. Okay. 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 And then finally, I think I'm gonna use it. Rachel's like, I think that's a mistake. I don't think I can work with you, feeds cut for this ceremony. All right, we're back. We're back. Ava's pissed at Vince for holding meetings. Vinny the lip. I applaud him. I applaud him. But don't try to act in my face. You got off the block 2 fucking minutes ago. You're taking meetings like you're the hog father. She's made some progress. She got him to accept, like, he's gone from it's not true that Riley and Catherine are against us to, well, they're just idiots and they're not doing things properly, which is progress. The thing you have to understand about Keanu right now is that he thinks, because of what he thinks about Riley, he currently feels like he is the Rachel in the Jimmy situation and that Rachel is Mickey. You know what I mean? And he'd be right to think that if he were correct about where Riley actually stands. But in this instance, Rachel, the Mickey, is correct about Riley, the Jimmy, as opposed to the previous instance where Mickey was very wrong. Keanu, of all people, to say, I believe that you believe what you're telling me is so funny. Because that's like his whole existence. I mean this so respectfully, but you've had such bad reads all season. Keanu, who's been on the block every week until this week, basically? Who do you think has the worst reads right now? Who's played this game twice before? Just consider for a moment that you might be wrong here. It is frustrating for me because I feel like, and listen, I could be wrong, but I like when I listen to Rachel talk to Keanu, I'm just like, I just wish that she would. I wish that there were more that she could be saying right now. You know what I mean? One thing Rachel does have here is that because of the way that she's talking, she does come off as genuine, and I do believe that Keanu believes that she's being genuine. I don't believe that Riley is dumb enough to come after me. Unfortunately, Keanu, that is wrong. Solid plan from Keanu. Keanu's correct. Keanu's correct. She should do this regardless. The issue is that he firmly believes that there's no evidence that exists that Riley's against him, and I don't think he will accept any evidence that Riley's against him. But she should be trying to mend fences regardless. Basically, he said, you go talk to Riley, tell him the only reason you did this is because you knew he was safe, that there are 5 locked-in votes to keep him, including me, and if I find out any information about Riley that says he's against me, I can always change my mind and vote him out. Ava says she cannot guarantee that she won't pop off at Vinny. I need Ava to talk to Catherine. Ava is too passive a player. She has a lot of correct ideas. She is not active enough about them. Because she should be talking to Catherine. Catherine is in a vulnerable position right now. Catherine can't afford to not, give audience. She should tell Catherine how skeptical she should be of Vinny. Vinny is currently positioned between Mickey, Morgan, and Riley. He is in a very vulnerable spot as well because he needs to play both sides. And so the more heat you put on him, the better. Will, stop! Let her do it! I actually think it would be good for Ava to pop off on someone. Look how good it was the last time she did it on Keanu. She needs more presence in the game. After what just happened, she's got space to be bigger. People need to learn this. If space opens up, you should occupy it. Kelly's so weird. I would be so annoyed if I were Rachel. The way that Kelly is acting here. Yeah, she's clearly annoyed with Rachel. Rachel was really hoping that she would be, grateful for not putting her up on the block. This is a good indicator. If you are playing the game, catching somebody in the middle of an emotion will make it harder for them to hide their true feelings. This should be the final indicator for Rachel that she'll never get Kelly. Because in the middle of her not putting Kelly on the block, Kelly is still more upset that Riley is on the block and can barely give Rachel the time of day. It's easy for somebody to hide how they feel about you when things are even keeled. I'm focused. Yeah, Rachel, I love you. I would totally want to work with you. While she's still crashing out about like, I can't believe I can put Riley on the block. I hate her so much. And then she's talking to you like, hey, everyone was telling me to put you up on the block and I didn't. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. You can see right through him, right? And you would only be that upset with somebody for not putting you on the block if you just don't like them, right? If you just don't like them that much. So it's a clear indicator of where you stand with that person. What she was saying before the feeds just cut is, sorry, Rachel, it's still just really fresh. I'm sorry, it was really fresh? It's really fresh that I just didn't put you on the block? All right, they're talking. Oh, Rachel's telling Kelly something now. Keep Morgan. Rachel's talking a little too much about Final Two, in my opinion. Riley would have. Oh, God. Do you agree with that? I like that. Keanu actually giving the line and not saying it's fake. That was huge. Keanu lying to Vince, trying to do genuine damage control, not trusting Vince with the truth. Vince did get ahead of this. Rachel is trying to put blame on Lauren and Vince for some of this. Vince knew she would try to do this and got ahead of it. He got ahead of it by saying she's going to try and say we knew about this. She's going to try to place the blame on us, but we didn't know. We thought it would be Ashley or Kelly. It is a lie. They knew this was a possibility. Vince, I think especially, he said he thought she was bluffing, but I think he just wanted the veto used on him. Lauren has to be careful here. Keanu saying to Lauren, you using the veto is, or not using the veto would have been like Rachel not using the veto on Brendan. Keanu also now giving the line to Lauren. The reason this was done was to guarantee the vote. Big friend summer camp. She's not even coming close to breaking through to Callie here. It was honestly, it was a mistake to try. Again, the second you get that reaction from her initially, sorry, it's fresh, and you can't keep telling her information. It is funny that the two people most pissed off outside of Riley and Catherine, Keanu and Kelly, are the people that Riley, like two of the people that Riley hates the most in the house. Literally just 2 nights ago was saying he will put Keanu and Kelly on the block because he wants to send them effing home. They run their mouth. That went so poorly. Yeah, they would, Morgan. They have done that. They would never start jury and do a double eviction in the same night. That they would not do that. Says somebody confidently who clearly does not know the show very well. And I think for the 5th month, ugh. Okay. So let's talk through votes a little bit. We've already mentioned it a bit, but basically, there should be a decent chance here. Oh, Kelly's back. Oh, she just went to go. This is exactly what I mean. Kelly left, had a chance to reset, came back in, and was able to pretend better. That's why it's so valuable to clock things in the moment. If again in those moments of like high emotion. Okay, so theoretically, this is a 5-4 vote with Riley on the block. We've mentioned this already. Keanu, Kelly, Lauren, Vince, and Catherine. 5 votes. If any one of them flips, the whole thing crumbles. Kelly, I think, is locked in for Riley. Keanu theoretically could be convinced by Rachel, but unlikely. And that, of course, leaves Riley and Lauren. Lauren definitely will not want to flip. Vince is going to have a hard time, I think, voting against Lauren, especially if it means, she just used the veto on him, and it means siding with Rachel and all of the women, many of the women who he's not even working with. Again, this puts Vince in a tricky position because he needs to be promising to both sides that he's with them. And at some point, if enough pressure is applied, that could get exposed, and Mickey and Morgan could be upset that he did not side with them. So, bit of a tricky week for Vince in that regard. But that's sort of where things stand there. Of course, in the vote between Mickey and Morgan, Mickey is just done. That's it. She's out as of right now. So with that in mind, I mentioned this morning. Is it a good move to put Riley on the block? I wouldn't say so. Kelly is the easier play here. It makes a lot more sense. Basically, if she fails to take Riley out, either through him winning the blockbuster or failing to get the votes, Riley and Catherine are now firmly anti-Rachel. At best, the survivor of Mickey and Morgan is, hopefully Morgan, but if it's Mickey, that's even worse. Potentially. Hold on, here's Lauren and Ava. Ava's like, just yeah, we can talk. Just can it be in like my bunk bed or something? I've already spent a lot of energy. I need to recharge again in my bed. Kelly, of course, does not believe Rachel that Lauren knew. Again, they got out in front of this. I think this is something that Rachel needs to potentially like publicly address. Because Rachel did do enough when talking to Lauren to heavily imply enough that Riley would go up. Lauren would crumble in a public confrontation about this and would admit that she basically knew and thought she was bluffing. I mean, you can already tell Lauren is already admitting a good amount of this to Kelly with no pressure. She's crazy, says Kelly. I mean, this is why Rachel should have put Kelly on the block. You know what I mean? She got nothing. She got less than nothing for not putting Kelly on the block. It's not really worth analyzing Kelly's gameplay, obviously, because it's Kelly. But it is worth noting that what Kelly is doing here is extremely poor gameplay. I mean, everything she's doing is extremely poor, but she's coming to Lauren to theoretically fact check, right? But she's leading the witness. She's giving Lauren all of the ways to lie to her. She started it with, obviously, you didn't know that Riley was going up, right? And when Lauren says, well, she did tell me that it would be somebody close to me, she's saying, well, you couldn't possibly have known it was Riley, though. And she's like, yeah. We're going to get her next week. Rachel, listen, again, this was not the move for Rachel. She should have just put up Kelly. She still had a good chance of taking out Mickey. If she loses Kelly, that's annoying, but it's not the end of the world. She has, I think, a somewhat correct mindset that like an HOH on Kelly is a waste, but that's only because she doesn't realize how much Kelly hates her, which is the fault of Rachel because there are plenty of signs. Because I would agree with Rachel if Kelly were even a potential number for her, that Riley makes more sense. But knowing what we know, that Kelly has hated Rachel from day one and never wavered from that, yeah, you shouldn't protect her. You shouldn't keep her off the block here. So this is already contradicting the story that Keanu is saying. This is actually interesting. You can see the wheels spinning for Lauren. Kelly says, I don't trust Keanu's vote to keep Riley. And Lauren's like, oh shit. What's interesting about that is that if they show any distrust to Keanu, it could be used by Rachel to help sway him. And Kelly wants to reinforce to Riley that he should be anti Rachel, which is, again, not exactly what I think Keanu will want to hear. In addition to that, Rachel can work Mickey and Morgan into trying to talk to Keanu because Keanu may be the swing vote here. They also have dirt on Riley. Mickey is so lost. Okay, they understand that their goal needs to be to make sure Keanu votes for Riley to stay. I'm Doctor. Thank you for the 5th month. Lauren telling a half truth. I really didn't think she was going to do that. Not that she wasn't told or it wasn't implied to her that she would. Now Keanu's telling Vince about the Brendan analogy. Ozzy, thank you for the subscription. Welcome to the Robot Army. I can't believe another week may come down to will Keanu finally break out of his delusion? Why does Kelly hate Rachel so much? She has from literally day one. Like she's, some people just hate people. There's no reason for it. Here's Keanu. And you just told Lauren that? Yeah. Oh my God. Vince babysitting. Keanu kicking him out. Sorry, I'm listening to both conversations. Keanu telling on himself. Vince obviously wants Mickey out. He's trying to come up with a plan to convince Mickey to throw it. It's not going to happen. Wow, that whistling freaked me out. Um, so here's the thing. I'm envisioning the future, and what I will say is my envisioning for the future this season. To toot my own horn, I think I'm normally pretty good at it. This season, I've not been as good at it. These players are on a different level. And it is difficult to predict what they will do because they do not follow any form of historical trend or common sense. However, what I will say is that according to the way that this should go, Mickey is likely to leave this week. It's the wall next week. Riley could potentially win. Morgan could potentially win. It's a matter of who, like, do they manage to pull Morgan to their side through the week because of the campaign? What's going to happen? But ultimately, I definitely envision Rachel on the block next week. I definitely envision Rachel needing to win a veto or a blockbuster. I do think that's happening. I do think that the Riley move was not the move. Keanu is trying so desperately to work with these people who hate him. And they are all talking about him behind his back, and they are all trying to manipulate him. And Rachel is trying to tell him, and he will not listen. But there's some time before the eviction, and if they lose his vote, things could be very different. What I will say is, I think that, and I've said this before, and then the competitions go a different way, but Lauren winning this veto, using the veto, this was a better, probably a better result for Lauren than not using the veto. Kelly going up would have been bad for Lauren. Riley going up is actually pretty good for Lauren. Because if they do manage to hold the votes and they keep Riley this week, that puts Lauren in a very good position. Even if they don't hold the votes this week and Riley goes home, that's not that bad for Lauren either. Now, long term, Lauren definitely needs to like step up her social game in terms of the amount of respect people have for her as a player. Because if she keeps acting this way, she's just probably never going to win a jury vote. But oddly enough, the fact that Rachel put up Riley is actually makes this move better for Lauren than it would have been otherwise. All right. I was actually in the middle of recording the Australian Survivor thing for Patreon. So I need to go and finish that before the stock watch tonight. But I guess before we do that, we can run a couple of questions to wrap up with. If you guys have questions, I'll answer a couple questions, and then I'll wrap up. I'll finish the Australian Survivor video for Patreon if you want to check that out. Episode 2 already out. And then stock watch tonight. Is Rachel making it worse by locking herself in the HOH? Yeah, I mean, it's not better for her to do that necessarily. I do believe Vince is on Riley's side. I think he would pick Riley over Morgan as well, but I don't think he wants Morgan to find out about that. Do I think Eminem will work with Rachel if Riley goes home? Not even necessarily, which is part of why this is not great. I think Morgan would. I don't think that necessarily Mickey would. I don't think production is going to interfere with Riley. Is Rachel screwed no matter what moving forward? Not no matter what, but it's definitely tough. Is Riley okay in any situation on Thursday? Not any situation. Again, Keanu could potentially flip. There's a world where Vince does, but I don't think it's likely. I don't think either one is likely. How do I find Survivor Australia versus the world so far? It's been amazing. It's been phenomenal. I've really enjoyed it. It's been really fun to talk it through too while I'm watching. Will Keanu connect the dots? I really don't think so. I cannot put faith in Keanu to escape the delusion that he has been under for the last 40 days. Now, I will say, so what just happened is that Riley is denying having said anything about putting Keanu up to Rachel. This is a mistake from Riley. Again, this is Keanu we're talking about, so. But I do believe that Keanu believes that Rachel was telling the truth. He thought that what happened was that Riley was just lying to Rachel. That was his sort of rationalization. But now, Riley has full on denied that he even said it at all to Rachel. If Keanu had a brain, he would be able to recognize that this is not just easily explained. There's no reason for Riley to lie about this unless he was being truthful with Rachel. So either Rachel is lying about it happening or Riley is lying about his intentions. And he's going to have to choose, or he should have to choose. That would cause some cognitive dissonance, which Keanu does not seem to handle very well. But, you know, these are the kinds of things that we are going to be paying attention to over the next few days. So stay tuned. Either way, Riley on the block, interesting stuff. It would certainly be fun if he left. It would be nice. Doesn't seem super likely at the moment. Does seem like Mickey is the most likely boot right now, but you know, we will see. We will see how it goes. All right, I'm gonna go and finish up the Survivor Australia versus the World video. We'll have the stock watch soon. Check out the Patreon if you want to watch the Australia versus the World coverage. Parvati, Tony, and Suri doing some things. Very fun to watch good players play a game is what I am currently enjoying. All right, check that out. Check out the book as always. Check out the stock watch tonight. Check out the update tomorrow morning. Thanks for hanging out here, and I will see all of you very soon.